welcome back to another episode of Not Afraid to Garden. So today I want to talk about actually if you're thinking about getting plants, about starting plants, indoor plants in your home, I've got good news for you. So right behind me, I've got probably the easiest plant you can probably start with. So I'm going to focus in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants that you could actually start with. And these are probably the easiest plants that I have here. And then I'm going to give you just detailed information on what requirements they need in order for you to be able to, for them to grow at home, and in order for you to allow them to thrive and just mature and grow and just keep them nice and healthy. So we're going to start off with and I wrote everything down, guys, because the reason, again, I put it on paper, I don't want to miss anything. I want you to have as much detail as you can in order for you to be able to purchase these plants and to take care of them. So the first plant that I do have here is my Euphorbia red. So this is a cacti. See that? Isn't that beautiful? So it's got the dark color on the edges, and then it's got this beautiful green in the center, like a green silver color. And then as it grows, you see the green that's coming up on here. So all of the green, it has grown since I've purchased it. And I purchased this, I don't know, maybe about a month ago. So all the green is what has grown in my care here. So euphorbias, cacti, they don't need a lot of water. So I know some people say, oh, you can't really kill a cacti because even if you forget to water it, it'll still survive. But you have to be careful how long that you're going to be able to leave that plant without water. So this plant itself, it doesn't need a lot of maintenance. So most of it, you just need a well-drained soil. So cacti, again, they don't want that heavy soil that's going to hold that water because you will end up with root rot right away. So definitely purchase a soil that is very loose, very well-drained. You can even use the, the cacti soil mix. So you can use it with that. And this one definitely needs a lot of light. So make sure that you place it where it's going to get, again, that direct light, but not that, the sun's going to hit it, or you definitely, otherwise they will burn it. So just make sure that you do place this one somewhere where it's going to get a lot of light. So water it when the soil is pretty much dry. Because the cacti mix that you're going to use with this is a lot of bark and some of the small particles in there. It's not going to be able to absorb a lot of that water, which is good because the water is going to drain right through. But you want to make sure that next time that you water it, you can water it maybe I water this one literally every week and a half, not every week. And then just make sure that everything is pretty dry, and then you can just water it and it should be fine. Again, don't let it sit in water because you'll get the root rot, the plant will die. And that's what will happen to that one. So that's the requirement for those plants, for this cacti anyway. So this is a nice one. I do love this one. And then the next one that we move on to is the Syngonium podophyllum. So Syngoniums, they come in a couple of different ones. They call them arrowhead plants. So I've got 3 varieties. Now these, again, they're very easy to keep at home. This one is called Maria. It's the dark. You guys see that? How beautiful, right? So this is Maria. It's got the dark leaves. Look how beautiful this is. And it grows like in a cluster in there. See how it grows in? And it's growing nice and full. So I have this one in quite a bit of light. So the room I have this in is all surrounded by windows. So I have that one. I have the American Evergreen. guys have seen this in my videos before. I just literally divided this plant not that long ago, remember? And then this one is in LECA. So it's got this little bit of water. You see the water? I think it's only this much. And again, the clay balls are absorbing that water. And I only water this one every 2 weeks. That's about it. I love it. I love it, guys. So every 2 weeks. And then I have the pink one. See that? This one is slow growing one. It grows pretty slow. It's been like this, you know, for a long time, these same 3 leaves. But I planted like 3 little babies around it and only 1 survived. So that's that one there. So I can't wait till it continues to grow. So this is a good plant to definitely have at home. You could grow this at home very easily. And the requirements for that one. So again, I got Maria Evergreen, and then I've got the pink one. Well-drained soil also, because it does like to, again, that water for it not to soak up in those roots too much in there. And it likes medium to dark to light sunlight. So and if you don't have a bright area, you could put it somewhere where it's kind of medium. This room, I can't use that as an example because I've got a lot of light coming in here, but you could put it in a bedroom even with just one window. You should be able to tolerate. It should be able to have enough light for the Syngonium. And these plants are beautiful, guys. If you can get your hands on, you know, different varieties of them, that would be nice, and you can scatter them throughout the house. It's just, they are beautiful. I love the leaves, you know, the arrowhead shape. That's why they're called that. And they do wonderful. They pretty much take care of themselves, you know. Yeah, so well-drained soil, I mean, they like the temperatures to be from 65 to about 75 degrees. And that's the temperature pretty much average inside the house. So you're not going to have a problem as far as, you know, their temperature or trying to, you know, prepare an environment a little different than what you already have. So that should be fine. They grow up to, they could grow up to 15 inches high. And now remember, if you look at that video that I talk about LECA, soil, or both, you do see when I first started, before I started to divide that arrowhead, and you saw how high it was, right? I mean, it got pretty full, really nice. Again, that was with the LECA because I had it in LECA. But with soil, as long as that soil is well drained, you should be fine. This plant is going to love you. You're going to love it, and it's going to thrive, and it's going to be doing just wonderful. So give it a try, okay? And then this one you could water 1 to 2 times during the week. But if you have it in LECA, only water it every week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, and just allow the LECA to absorb that water, I'm sorry. And then, again, don't let that water sit if you have it in soil, because it will rot. You'll end up with root rot. So that's also a beautiful plant to start off with, guys. So think about a Syngonium podophyllum. Then I move on to this beautiful one, this spider plant. You guys may have heard about spider plants. I mean, forever. I think everyone, I don't think of anyone that I know that have never had a spider plant. And spider plants, again, I think people have them because how easy it is to grow them. So, I mean, with these plants, you can't go wrong. These spider plants also, you can grow them both ways. So you can grow them in water, or you can grow them in soil. I myself don't, I prefer the soil, not the water, only because I have to be able to maintain that more, and I'm afraid that it's going to end up root rot if I don't change that water often enough. So I try to stay away from that. I haven't tried it in LECA. That's an idea. Actually, I'm going to test that. I'm going to put my spider plant in LECA and then give it a try. So spider plants, again, these are these plants. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'll bring it a little closer. Look how beautiful this one is doing. I've had this one, I looking for about a year and a half, I think. And then look at the babies. They keep growing and growing. And I keep taking little plants from here and plant them somewhere else. But this plant loves light, a lot of light. And then again, the more light you give it, the more, you know, you water consistently, and it will shoot out these babies. Look at this. I mean, it's gorgeous. I love spider plants. And you can't go wrong with them. You cannot kill a spider plant, so you should be fine. So spider plants, pretty much, again, they love the soil, slightly moist. So this one, try not to have that soil to be completely dry, because you will see the difference. So if it's completely dry, these leaves, they tend to be a little more on the pale side. So they're not going to look nice and green, and they won't stand up straight like this. You'll see it kind of a little wonky, a little funny looking like that. So make sure that you keep that soil not soggy, because again, with soggy, you'll have the root rot. I mean, and this happens to every plant, you know, if you leave too much water in there. Again, you water once a week. I water this one once a week, only because it's in the soil, okay? And I do wait until the soil dries up a little bit. I mean, I don't let it dry completely dry, because then I'll see the difference on that, and it might hurt the plant and the roots. So just enough that the soil is dry. So now I'm going to just water it enough, and then the water's going to go through, and then I'll just wait for the next time, you know, that it dries up. So then, and then what I do with this plant is when I water it, I actually pick up the whole plant. I take it over to my bathtub, and I put it in the tub. I let the water actually absorb the water. That's a different way to do it. Now, the only reason I do that is because this one has babies, and I let these babies sit in water. So while they're sitting in water, their roots here are growing. So the roots are more growing, you know, while I don't have them in soil. And that's why these babies keep getting larger and larger. Or I take a bottle of water and I mist them. So I mist them, I don't know, maybe once a week. I should mist them a little more often, but I'm not doing that. But I do take them to the bathtub and let them soak in there. And then once these babies get large enough, you can just take them and you know, snip them off of this, and you can plant them and start that whole cycle again. So that's the spider plant. And now with spider plants, I have them everywhere, guys. I plant them everywhere. I planted them with a plant that I have here. And one of my co-workers gave me this plant. I don't have the name for this plant. I have to look for the name on this plant here. Look how beautiful. These are all just little babies that I've gotten from these other plants. And I've had them planted in other plants around. I'll show you in just a minute. I also have it in my travel palm on the flower pot right on the bottom. I do have those spider plants growing on there too. So they're nice to just fill in some of those flower pots. Okay, and then the next plant that I want to show you are pothos. Pothos, everybody knows what a potho plant is, right? It's probably the easiest plant to grow ever, I think. Out of every plant, I think this is probably the easiest one. So let me show you what that potho plant is. And again, it's this heart-shaped plant. See this? I've had this a couple of years also. So pothos, they grow like a vine like this, and they just keep growing and growing and just getting longer and longer. But occasionally I do snip mine from the bottom. Only because the longer it gets, it loses strength from up here. And that's why you see a lot of these plants that they keep growing, and then they're a little bare on the top. So if you want it to see a little fuller, snip it, and then it'll start to grow more leaves in between those nodes there. So that's what a potho is. This is my marble pothos because it's got, the leaves look like marbles. See that? That pretty? It's got a little yellow hint there with the green, mixed with the green. And then I planted Mother of a Thousand. I took a couple of their little babies and I planted it in here. Again, I like to mix plants, guys. I'm okay with that. You guys can do that if you like. You don't really have to. So again, pothos is probably another sure plant that you can have at home. And these pothos, again, people grow them also in water. I don't grow this one in water also. I like to keep mine in soil. So a little information about those. Again, it likes the well-drained soil, the well-drained potting soil. Let it dry in between because, again, giving the roots an opportunity to dry up a little bit, so that way you won't get that root rot, and that way you don't have that soggy roots in there. So pothos will actually tell you when they are really thirsty also. So once you see the leaves, they start to curl in a way, like the ends here will start to curl in like this, okay? And it loses its color. The green kind of fades a little bit. And that's when it's saying, I'm thirsty. I need a drink of water. So definitely, please, that's a good way of looking at it, but you don't want to wait till then. You don't want to wait until that plant is literally talking to you, letting you know that you need water, that it needs water. So just let the soil dry, come back once a week. In the winter, in the summertime, you may want to water it a little bit more, only because, you know, if your home is a little warmer, that's fine, you can water it more. But in the winter, it's going to take a little longer for that soil to dry up. So make sure you keep an eye on that soil. Don't overwater, because that's what happens to a lot of these plants. We tend to overwater them, and what we don't realize it is that those roots are suffering in there, okay? And that's the same thing for all of them. To be honest, guys, I never fertilize my plants. I know a lot of people talk about fertilizing them once a month, or, you know, during their growing time and all that stuff. I've never really gotten into that. So all of my plants that you see here, they're not fertilized. I don't use fertilizers. So again, I'm just relying on just the light, the water, and the tender loving care that I give them. So, but you could fertilize them, you know, again, with just regular household plant fertilizer. If you wanted to fertilize these, you can purchase that. I think Home Depot, Lowe's, and Amazon, you can purchase them either in liquids, or I think there's some tablets and stuff like that. I can't talk about that only because I don't do it, and I don't have, you know, I can't tell you something that I don't do. So, so you may want to look into that if you wanted to be able to fertilize, okay? So again, if you want these plants to be able to not bloom, but to be able to be fuller up here, just keep trimming them and don't allow them to grow that long. And then, and again, you can't propagate these so easy. They have the roots that grow long. Snip it right on the node, plant it in water. Couple of weeks, keep an eye on it, change the water, and you get new plants. And then, so I got different type of pothos. I have the, I believe it's called the Snow Queen pothos. I think I'm going to take this a little closer to you guys here. So look at this one. I believe this is the Snow Queen. Look at that one. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, white. Look at that. Look at this one. So this one is more variegated than the other ones. So I think I have a mixture of regular pothos, which is the green, the marble, the Snow Queen, and then I planted a fern in here. I don't know if you guys realize, but you don't want to start with ferns. Ferns are not so simple. Look at my fern collection, and you'll see how I talk about that. And then the last plant that I wanted to add here that you guys can grow, it's this one back here. So this is a Tradescantia. So again, most of these are all plants, trailing plants, plants that hang in flower pots. So this one, this is a Tradescantia, and Tradescantias are so simple to grow. Oh my God, guys, you can do this with your eyes closed. Literally, grow these plants. So I have the variegated Tradescantia, and there's the Sabrina Tradescantia, which is the purple, the Wandering Jew, Wandering Jew. And then there's the Nanook Tridescantia, which I have it upstairs. Sorry guys, I didn't bring it down with me. But I have the variegated one. Variegated as in, see that? White and green. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love this plant. Look at that. And look how it grows. Like in between the nodes. I'm going to show you something, guys. Look how amazing this plant grows. I'm trying to find a good example of one. Of course, I want to show you now. I can't find a good sample one. Actually this one. So you see how this grew from this branch here, from here. So what happens is they grow from in between the nodes, and then this plant starts getting fuller and fuller and fuller. Actually, this plant can grow out of control. You could allow this plant to grow that way, and then eventually you're probably gonna snip, put it in water, again for a couple of weeks. Not even that long, because these plants already have roots. Look at this. See those roots in there? See that? Those are roots that it already has. And again, this plant is very, very simple to grow. So the requirements for Tridescantia, again, is it likes loose soil, not a heavy soil where it's going to tighten up those roots. So again, it likes and you could actually use a compost mix. So if you compost, you could use that mix to be able to use it for this, and you can mix in probably a little bit of, I want to say maybe like the cacti mixed in with a little bit of soil. You can grow this plant in there also. It loves lots of light, lots of filter light, because if the sun hits these leaves, it's going to burn them. So you definitely don't want that, but it loves a lot of light. Make sure that you plant it somewhere where it's going to get a lot of light. And then you'll notice that it's going to follow where the light is coming from. So if you have this plant and you have only like a window in one certain area, you're going to notice that most of the shoots, as it's growing, it's following that direction. So you're going to have to take that plant and kind of rotate it and tilt it, so that way it can get evenly. So that's what I've noticed with this one. And if you want to encourage growth, for it to continue to grow, you can pinch this plant back. So in any area, any node right before it, you can pinch it right there and then just cut that. And then you can do that with, with everything that's growing here. If you wanted to cut it back, and then the plant will continue to grow and get stronger. I like this one versus the pothos, because this one grows more fuller from the top than the pothos. That's my experience anyway. But that plant, I mean, it will not disappoint you. So trust me, you should try this one. Again, so water when the top soil or midway through is dry. This one is also, you have to be very careful with that root rot. You could end up with root rot very easily. So you have to wait for that soil to be dry, not just the top soil, but halfway through. Either stick your finger in, and if everything is dry halfway through, then you know you have to water it. Okay, don't overwater this one, because you'll end up with root rot on this one also. Water less in the winter, again, for the same reason for the pothos and all the other ones. If it's in the summertime, the weather is warmer, so it's definitely going to require more water. But in the winter time, if your temperature inside the house, you have it average, and it's not hot in here anyway, so you can water a little less, so that way you don't end up with root rot. And then this plant does get little tiny flowers, but they're very minimal, and it only flowers for a couple of days. So it's not grown for the flowers. It's grown more for the plant itself, for the greenery, on what it looks like. So guys, try these plants. Again, these are probably my easiest plants that I have all around the house. And again, don't be afraid to try some of these plants. And if you're you want to start a plant collection indoors, these are probably what I would start off with. I wish I would have known all of this when I started to to have plants in the house. I didn't know. Everything was trial and error. But with with all the information that you have right now, there's no reason why you can't try to grow these. I have a ivy here growing here. You could also try an English ivy. Ivies grow just the same way pothos grow. Again, just make sure that the soil is fairly dry in between. And again, these ivies are beautiful. They come variegated. They come just green in all types. If you like plants to spill over, if you want to use these plants as hanging plants, these are probably the ones that I would definitely use. And then maybe try one of those cacti. So I hope you guys definitely got a lot of information on this. Now, go out there, buy yourself a couple of these plants, and then watch them grow. If you have any questions or anything, guys, you can leave me any comments right below, or watch the video again, and then you can again just know what is required for each one of these plants, guys. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram. If you want a sneak peek at some of these plants, I do post them in Instagram before it gets to YouTube, so check it out. Also on Instagram, Not Afraid to Garden. And again, guys, I'm only 10 people away from 100 subscribers. So guys, please, I know some of you guys are watching the videos, you haven't subscribed yet. I'm asking you to just go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, so that way you know when the next video comes out. And then don't forget to like. Had fun making this video, guys. I check you guys on the next video. Peace.